Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Pete's CD Vinyl World. Today I'm going to do a vinyl tag started by Richard McCook about greatest hits packages or compilations. So he wants you to show 20 and only 10 of them, the most 10 can be are double albums. So you can have as many, I guess, single albums as you wanted, but the max for double albums would be 10 and no box sets or anything like that. Um, so I'm going to start with CDs first because a lot of my greatest hits stuff is on CD. So show them first. First one is by UFO. It's called Essential UFO, and basically this is just covers the Michael Schenker years, and basically the track listing of this is almost identical to Strangers of the Night, the classic live album from them. So if you're only interested in the Michael Schenker years, it's definitely a good compilation. Next up is Strictly Commercial, Best of Frank Zappa. This goes through his whole career. Well, it starts with Peaches and Regalia, which is sort of, I would say, after the Mothers. So now that I look at it, there's not really anything from the original Mothers. It basically starts at Hot Rats and goes forward from there. But it's got something from, I would say, most of the albums. It's good if you don't know any Frank Zappa to pick this up and just start from here. Next up is a double album from Queensryche called Sign of the Times. Covers a lot of their stuff from all of their albums. And the second disc has a lot of B-sides, obscure stuff, and some demos. So if you're a Queensryche fan, they do have a single greatest hits album as well. That one actually has a couple of new tracks that aren't on this. So, but this one covers a lot of their career. Van Halen Best of Volume 1. They've only had two greatest hits albums. This is a single album. It's got two new songs with David Lee Roth on here. I think this came out in '97, which are pretty good. And other than that, it's got like one song from each album. So, pretty good compilation, I would say. Cheap Trick, the Authorized Greatest Hits. It's a little bit longer than their greatest hits album they put out in like '88. This has a couple of unreleased songs and alternate versions. Also has the theme from that '70s show which they did, which I think was only released as a single. So, of course, it doesn't have Magical Mystery Tour, which was on their other greatest hits CD, so you have to get that one too. This is the Kinks Singles Collection. I'm not sure if this counts as a greatest hits, but it's basically a compilation of their Warner Brothers Reprise era. So I guess it goes through the Lola album. So it has Lola and 8-Man on it. Of course, the Beatles. This is their first compilation covering 62 to 66. If you're asking me to choose which era, the red or the blue, I would say I like this era more than their later era. They were more of a rock and roll band here. I think once they stopped touring, they became more of a studio band. Ramones, their toughest hits. This covers a lot. The first CD has 30 songs alone. All their songs are usually 2 minutes under, but yeah, it covers their whole career. Has something from every album, so that's a really good compilation. Same with this one from Motorhead. Double CD. It has something from every album and some rare 12-inch singles stuff on here, so that's pretty cool. This is Dedication, Best of Thin Lizzy. Again, this one, it's got something from most of their albums, so it's a pretty good compilation. Rush Chronicles, this is a double CD. Came out, I guess, after Presto, which was like 1989 or 1990, so it's got something from every album. This was my first, I believe, Rush album I got on CD. I think I had a couple on vinyl before this, but it's got something from every album. So And finally on CD, Oyster Cult Workshop of the Telescopes. This is a very thorough double CD. It's got something from every album and a couple of tracks only released on 12-inch singles and that type of thing. But yeah, there's like 17 songs on each CD, so it's a pretty thorough compilation. Next up, this is a Beach Boys double album. I'd never seen it or heard of it before. I mean, it was put out by Capitol. It seems like it's a pretty inexpensive, because it's not a gatefold, but it's a double album. But it has pretty much every song you can think of, including like some of the like later 60s Wild Honey, Do It Again. So I don't really need much more Beach Boys than that. Next is called Kiss World. It's a compilation they put out a couple years ago. Covers their whole career. Only has 2 songs from this line, Uptown Empty Theater and Eric Singer. It's got Modern Day Delilah and Hell or Hallelujah. I just got it just to get it because I have to get every Kiss album. But it's okay. Jethro Tull, Original Masters. Covers, I think, everything through Too Old to Rock and Roll, Too Young to Die. Don't think there's anything from like Stormwatch or any of the later albums on here, but it's a pretty good I have a double CD compilation of theirs that's very thorough and it covers a lot, but this one's pretty good too. Heart Greatest Hits Live. There is a lot of live tracks on here, but there's also studio tracks as well, so I'm not sure if this one counts, but the drums on here on the live tracks sound amazing. Love this album. Best of Blondie is one of my favorite greatest hits albums. Every track on here is really a classic. Sounds really good too. Best of Mountain. Pretty much taken from like, I guess, like 3 or 4 albums, but it's got all their major songs on here. And finally, The Who, Meaty Beaty, Big and Bouncy. This is all of their early singles, because I believe The Who didn't have a lot of their singles like Can't Explain and Substitute were on any of their albums, so they compiled them all and put them on this. So yeah, this has like all of their singles through Pinball Wizard. So I used to have this on cassette back in the 80s, and I listened to it all the time. Found a vinyl copy of it. And they've had a ton of compilations, but this was one that was actually put out in the time period to summarize their 60s stuff. So anyway, those are my 20 greatest hits albums. So please subscribe to Richard McCook's channel if you haven't, and if you like my videos, please subscribe here. Thanks a lot.